We're back.
We're
with
back.
episode number. Are you ready for this one?
243.
243. You missed your cue, man.
Oh,
there you go. 243.
You just can't see it in these slithers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be better if we do this.
Oh,
there we go. I did the horns, but you couldn't see them.
Couldn't see it. Right on. So what's going on, everybody? You guys got anything you want to talk about before we get into our topics? I know we got to do our picks of the week and all that kind of fun stuff, but
yeah, I don't want to be a downer, but if anybody's interested, we watched We Will Dance Again about the October 7th debacle over in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. And it's graphic and disturbing and very well done. And I'm telling you right now, it will change the way you think about life, because we got it pretty easy over here in the States. And those that have traveled and know the story, I mean, I'm friends with Yoav from Insipidus. He is from Israel and moved to Denver he actually moved to New York and then to Denver for a better life. And I think he will agree that he has one. But boy, if you can stomach it, you need to watch it. And it's overwhelming. But anyway, no, man, I wasn't here last week because I know you guys had a good interview with those fellas from Seether and
Stuck Mojo.
Yeah. We had family night. We were watching Agnostic Front, Obituary, and the recent incarnation of Sepultura, which we've previously discussed is just average at best. Obituary just destroyed, and Agnostic Front was quite good. So.
Well, especially if you've seen Cavalera doing the first 2 hours or the first 4 albums live.
Yeah.
And they've just been ripping it to shreds,
Well, and my understanding was this was sort of a reunion thing, and I thought that the Cavalera brothers were going to actually be there, but I guess that flamed out early in the summer.
So the Cavalera brothers wanted it. It from what I understand, it's all because of Andreas Kisser.
That's too bad, because that would have really been something.
What's up, Bobby Gass? Bobby
anyway.
Gass is joining us. That's cool. You remember Bobby, right, Steve?
Oh yeah, we do the live stream every Friday night with Bobby.
Right on.
Me and John and Bobby and a few other guys.
Well, last week we had the show on Monday instead of Tuesday.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday I went to see Accept and KK's Priest. I thought both bands were spectacular. I really, really enjoyed KK's Priest. They were just hitting it on. And what I really enjoyed about them, first of all, they played, I'm going to say half their set was Priest, half their set was original material from KK's Priest. But hearing them do songs like Nightcrawler and what else? Hell Patrol, they did Before the Dawn, which I don't think I've ever heard Judas Priest do live.
I wish they would have. I know it's a long song. I wish they had done Cathedral Spirals though.
They did Sinner, which I thought was fantastic as well. It was I loved it. They were tight. The band looked good. They put on a great show. The whole background was all video, but they had these flames, just like they weren't real flames. They were like smoke bombs with lights in them that just looked spectacular. Accept were great too. Both bands were really good. My only thing with Accept is that they got better as they went on, and I don't think it was so much them as it was the sound. Getting them into hey, your sweetheart's here.
No, I saw that.
See, I had the opposite experience when I saw them. I thought Accept knocked the walls off the club, and then KK, I felt like they were phoning it in. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because I know you told me that. And then I spoke to Rob on the phone because he went to see the show too. Metal Rob, who's again not here, but he said the same thing. He thought KK's Priest just killed it. So who knows? Maybe they had a bad night the night you saw him. But yeah, I would have loved to have heard him do two songs. I would have loved to have heard him done was Cathedral Spires and Bullet Train. They didn't do those two, but
because that's weird that Rob. See, once again, we're comparing apples and oranges. I think because the same person can stare at the same piece of art and have two different opinions. And the report I got was Accept was mind blowing and KK was just pedestrian. But then Rob thought they were awesome. So
what really blew me away too is Zetro's 74 years old, and his voice still killed. You know, I mean,
Who?
Or not Zetro,
Mark
Tornillo. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's 74.
74. I actually looked it up.
Yeah, he was great. They were good. I didn't say anything. I don't think anything bad about either one of the bands. They were both fantastic. I didn't pick up a whole lot of stuff because I just didn't have a whole lot of money. I did pick up a KK's Priest shirt with the tour dates on the back. Cool picture. Took some decent photos.
I got a signed poster from KK's Priest.
They had some great drum heads.
Like $20.
They had some killer drum heads there for sale, but I just didn't have the cash.
I had done the meet and greet with Accept, so I wanted to get that picture that I took with them in 2015 signed finally, and I got a bunch of stuff. So I'll show it in a little bit because I've been listening to it a lot.
I can show this. I did buy this. I haven't put it in a frame yet, but they were selling these too, which I thought was cool.
It's the same one I bought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a killer graphic. Dig it.
Yeah, it's got both logos on it, and it's signed and autographed by. It said both bands, but I don't know.
No, I think it's just KK's Priest that signed it.
But yeah, anyhow, pretty spectacular. Yeah, I enjoyed the show. I mean, I enjoyed both bands. I was closing my eyes and listening to the music. I wasn't really into headbanging. I just wanted to hear the music, and especially when they were getting into songs like Sinner and stuff like that. I was like, man, this sounds amazing. They also did.
What's up?
Come on, the Joan Baez cover, Diamonds and Rust.
Yeah, that was cool because I haven't seen Priest do Diamonds and Rust or Green Monalishi in as long as I can remember, and they did both of those at the KK's show, which was cool.
And Ripper just tore it up on,
well, he's super healthy now, and so I think that helps. But Motorhead Derek says that the H-Town show got canceled. In fact, how does Hellstar Accept and KK's Priest sound? That would have been a pretty blistering night. But yeah, they got canceled. I don't know why. It says
Brother Lee's here. Nice.
I think Larry Berrigan, friend of the show, said mitigating circumstances. So you know what that means. We can't talk about it. What's up, Nils from Norway?
Yeah, Gene here. Jim Mayer said saw KK and Accept in Des Plaines, and great show. Yeah, I like I said, it was, and I also prefer shows like that where it's a smaller theater, and I don't know, I'm not as much into the big stadium shows anymore. They just kind of, I don't know, they kind of suck. But those smaller shows in the small theaters where it doesn't matter where you sit, it's all great show and it's all great sound. I'd say one thing, it was freaking loud, man. It was I'm glad I brought earplugs. I don't care if you call me a poser or not. It was,
and that's something that surprised me too, because both bands were pretty loud, but the sound guys at the place where I was in Nashville, it wasn't like to the point where my ears were glaring like 2 hours later. You know what I mean? They did a really good job with the sound. It's a cool venue, though. I had never been there. It's called the Brooklyn Bowl, and it's like a bowling alley with a huge stage on the side of it. So like between bands, there's people bowling and hanging out. It was a pretty cool venue.
Yeah, Rob Whitlock is he was the bass player for Ultimatum when him and I went together. A good friend of mine, and he just chimed in, said it was a great show. Damien Hairmetal said it was great. So I guess everybody's enjoying it up where you saw that one. What else we got here? Anyhow, my God, y'all look fantastic. Thank you. Jeez. Especially Carcass. He's got that, the flow going here. So he trumps us all.
And his marital bliss of being married for a month.
It is marital bliss. I'm not gonna lie, it's great.
Whereas me and Scott have been married for decades and just don't have that glow anymore.
I did start my hockey beard, so I've got about a week of growth here.
All right,
so
got to do that.
We got a long season ahead of us. We'll see how my Flyers and Kings do. In any case, is there anything you wanted to talk about before we get into the subject, Steve?
Yeah, you brought up movies. I just watched The Bike Riders the other night. Have you guys seen that yet? Oh man, it's fantastic. It's what's the British guy that played Bane? Tom Hardy's in it.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
It's basically a fictionalized version of the creation of the Outlaws Motorcycle Club in Chicago. And man, it's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. That everybody's doing the same old movie lately, and that was something different.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I don't go to there you go Kings go. I don't go to movies very often, but my wife and I went to see Am I Racist? Oh my gosh, we laughed our butts off.
Yeah, I heard. I've seen all the clips. I've seen are hilarious.
The whole place was just losing it. It was just so funny. It's definitely a, I don't know, mockumentary, documentary, whatever you want to call it. But man, they just knocked it out of the park with that one. Anyhow, he's shaking his head. Yes,
I know. It is. I'm veering away from the uber conservative talk because I think it's hilarious.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't matter if you think if you agree or not. It's just seeing Matt Walsh play that part. It was just he's just hysterical. He's on this little scooter, and you're like, he's like this big old pro masculine guy, and it's just hilarious. When they bring out the whips and they have everybody asking everybody if they want to whip themselves, it was like I almost fell over my chair. Yeah. Anyhow, we'll get away from that. But yeah, it was a fun movie, so we enjoyed it. But you have some POWs for us?
I do have some POWs. In fact, it's been kind of a interesting, oddly weird week. But we're getting excited about heading down to Headbangers Ball or Headbangers Boat at the end of the month, and we'll take lots of pictures and maybe have some
Flyers.
No, go Phillies. No, thank you. I'm
Flyers.
Tigers, Dodgers. But anyway, so I've just been pulling stuff out of the stack. I haven't really bought anything in a long time until recently, and I've done some trade out work, so I've got a bunch of new stuff. But these are my picks of the week. I got a rock pick, which is a little bit of an oddball, but
I like Kraftwerk.
Okay,
I don't have that particular one.
This is their very first one. This is a reissue. They just reissued this one, and then the second one, which has a green cone. But they're this is uber 70s psychedelic. It's not unlike their countryman Tangerine Dream, that their first 7-inch release was super hyper psychedelic, raspberries meets Black Sabbath type stuff. But this thing is exceptional. It's a reissue, remastered 180 gram, and it sounds great. And I had an original copy, but it was so beat that I couldn't hardly play it. It just sounded like I was like it was raining on a hot tin roof when I would listen to it. But this thing sounds premium, so I traded that for something. And then my metal pick of the week, and we've talked about Overkill a million times, but I found a clean copy. Once again, my other copy was beat, and I know you can buy a reissued, remastered, whatever. I love the old school, and this is an old school copy on Megaforce, and I love this record as a companion to Taking Over. So, picks of the week: the first Kraftwerk from 1970 for the rock pick, and then Overkill Under the Influence.
Nice.
But you can pretty much grab any Overkill record, and I'd be happy.
So, a quick note on the Kraftwerk. I was watching. I don't remember how I got on it, but it was like a history of hip hop. And they were talking about the early pioneers of DJing and mixing. And they said that they got a lot of the ideas for their sound from Kraftwerk. And that's one of the first records that they sampled in hip hop was the Kraftwerk records from the 70s.
Yep.
Yes. That's cool. One thing I didn't say before we get into the topic was got a new addition to the family.
I saw that.
Oh, you showed him last week, didn't you? Or him, right? Or her?
I don't know. It's a her, yeah. I don't know if I did or not. This is Abby. Abby's tired. She's like, put me down. I want to go back to sleep.
I know you showed her before we went live. I don't know if you showed her while we were actually on the stream.
Yeah, it's my wife's new dachshund. So we now have 3 dachshunds. They are the most yappy, loud dogs ever. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Steph. See, Steph cares.
She does care, but she's got a Chihuahua, so of course.
I had a Chihuahua before too. Lived 16 years and then had a heart attack. But there you go. See, Abby is cute. So there you go. All right. Well, let's get into our topic, which is what are we listening to? What have we been listening to? So I pulled a bunch of stuff. I'm sure you guys did. So we've got a good what?
I'm laughing because
45 minutes to jam. So let's jam.
I'm laughing because we could talk for like 5 days.
Easily.
Just on what we pulled this afternoon, but. I want to get started because I have a stack of something that actually has a story, and I won't show every one. But so when everybody else was at KK's Priest and Accept, we went to a benefit for the Dallas Fort Worth Rockers Against MS, and it's It's kind of a reincarnation of something that used to happen about 5 years ago, but the gal that put it on passed away, unfortunately. So this was sort of a tribute to her. But they had Rotting Corpse play, Varnum Ponville from Gamacide fame. He has a band called Cauldron. He came up and played, and we had a bunch of other bands. It was really killer. But one of the things that they had for sale at the auction was a stack of Cannibal Corpse records from Rob Barrett himself, who donated these to the cause. So guess who made a huge donation to the cause? This was all in the name of charity. And of course, my beautiful wife giving me the elbow into the rib cage, saying
you got enough.
Yeah, but those are all the remastered. Those are all the remastered ones on colored vinyl. They're very cool. So shout out to Dallas Fort Worth Rockers Against MS, and thank you to Rebecca, and thanks to Rob Barrett for those. And man, now my Cannibal Collection, her Cannibal Collection Corpse collection is now complete.
Right on.
Which is not an easy task because I've got 30 records now.
Yeah, I think they got like 30 records. Oh, I was going to show this to you too, Scott.
Oh, you picked it up.
I picked it up.
What'd you think?
But check this out.
Yeah, I know they have a bunch of albums. I only have the one so far.
Yeah, I actually like this one better. It's a little more instrumental, psych rockish. This would be the Fusion Syndicate. This one's got Al Di Meola, Chester Thompson, Rick Wakeman, Bootsy Collins, John Eckerman, Steve Stevens from.
That's a weird mix. Are they all? Oh, it's on different songs, or they're all playing together?
No, they're all different songs. Carmine Appice. It's got Chris Poland, of course. Bumblefoot's on here. Alfonso Johnson from Weather Report. It's freaking awesome.
Yep, and the first one you showed. Read the list of that one. Who's on it? Because it's like a lot of different players.
Yeah, this has got John Etheridge, Helios Creed, Jerry Goodman, Angelo Moore, Marty Friedman, Brian Auger, Robbie Krieger from The Doors, Jaw Wobble again, Chester Thompson,
Genesis.
Yeah, Alpha, and yeah, it's got some of the same people. So there's like a core group that are the same. But these Fusion Syndicate things are just absolutely killer graphics. The records sound great, even though they're colored vinyl. And so I guess while I'm at it, I'll just show this too. Herbie Hancock, Future Shock, one of my favorite. I guess this is from the 80s. Anyway, one of my favorite. I love Herbie Hancock. I love jazz fusion as a whole, but if you can find a copy of that, that would be a highly recommended one on my list.
What do you think of the Ian Gillan band records? Not Gillan, but the Ian Gillan band. So we're doing that kind of jazz fusion mix with rock.
I
well, they went back and forth too, because they did like one that was more like Deep Purple, one album, and then the next album was like straight up jazz fusion.
I think he was just playing with our feelings. I think he wanted.
I liked them all though. I liked all of them.
We wanted another Deep Purple record, and we got. Well, and speaking of that Deep Purple thing, how about this? I found this little gem. Dixie Dregs.
Oh, I have that one. Yeah.
The Great Spectacular. This thing is awesome.
I think that's their very first self-released album.
It is from 1975. Yeah. It's got Steve Morse, of course, on guitar. Rod Morgenstein from Winger fame. It's killer. I've sort of been on a jazz fusion bender. Speaking of which, anybody know the Super Trio? Chick Corea, Steve Gadd, and Christian McBride on bass. Anyway. So what do you got now that I've hogged up
the first
20 minutes?
So I just picked these up. I just want to show them. So I ended up running into a promo copy of Fabulous Disaster from Exodus from one of my local shops. So I had to grab that. The cover's not in the best condition, but when do you see promo copies? And then this was sealed. I still can't believe I found this. I had another first pressing that I sold for like $250. It wasn't in as good a condition as this. And then found this one steel sealed, but the Ramones.
Oh, wow.
First pressing. It's only unsealed because we opened it up just to make sure it was actually a first pressing and not a later repress from later in the 70s. But so I've been spinning that a lot. And then where did it go? This is where did I just put it? Oh, there we go. This is a local Atlanta comp that just came out called Surrender to Death, a history of the Atlanta metal underground, 82 to 99. This thing is fantastic. It's a local label that did it. Let's see. Boris Records. And man, there's a lot of bands on here that you guys have heard of. Fort Knox, Necropolis, Dark Overlord, Hallows Eve. These are guys that I knew of before moving to Atlanta. But this is 4 albums of just killer metal. A lot of it death metal, a lot straight up, a lot 80s metal. Just a really good comp if you guys run across this.
Yeah, another one? Since I got your solo laid out.
One more. I got one more white label promo that I pulled out. This one's for Brother Rob if he's watching. Ended up listening to a little bit of Dawkins. Hadn't listened to this in probably 10 years. And gave this a few spins this week too.
Right on. Okay. I've been on a huge I did pick this one up, which I've got probably like 20 copies of this stupid thing, but I couldn't resist getting it with the long box.
Of course you couldn't.
So it's opened. It's been opened. It's got actually a couple small flaws, like you can see a little pinhole right there.
The hole punch, yeah.
It was, I mean, with the CD and everything, it was $20. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
I say that, but I just bought this not too long ago, just because I didn't have it on cassette. So
yeah, I mean, I got so many copies. This is ridiculous, but I didn't have the actual long box, so it's also the original CD pressing, not the remastered CD pressing, which I think the remasters sound good anyhow. But it was kind of
I hated those long boxes back when they were popular too. They used to drive.
Yeah, I never cared about them either, but I don't know. Now I kind of just have them as kind of a display thing. That's all I don't have a lot of them. I probably have like 6 or 7 of them.
Municipal Waste just put out their last 3 records in a long box.
There's been a couple bands that have done it recently. Yeah.
We did. One of the labels I work for did Deliverance, Weapons of Our Warfare in a long box. And then they also did, I think, a Bride album in a long box, but they were more expensive because the long boxes cost so much to make.
Wasn't it?
No, it was Snakes in the Playground.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
Anyhow, I've been kind of on a 70s kick, so I've been listening, and I've been listening to a lot of these 3 bands for whatever reason. But this is Humble Pie.
I saw you post that the other day, and I was a little bit jealous.
It's called Greatest Hits, but it's really early material. This is all like Peter Frampton era stuff. So late 60s, early 70s. Natural Born Woman, Desperation, a Nifty Little Number Like You, Every Mother's Son, Alabama 69, The Sad Bag of Shady Lit Jake, Home and Away, Heartbreak, Silver Tongue, As Safe as Yesterday, and Down Home Again. So there's actually no hits on here that I know of.
Kind of like that Japanese Thin Lizzy comp that you had the other day.
Yeah, exactly. It's all these early deep cuts, which is why I bought it. Because I don't really care all that much about hit packages, but those first 2 Humble Pie albums I still don't have in my collection. So this was kind of a nice pickup for a really good price, and has the featuring Peter Frampton hype sticker on it.
Wow.
So I mean, he was kind of a big thing, in the late 70s and early 80s. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Humble Pie and also Mott the Hoople.
All the way to Memphis.
All the way. Which that song is actually on this particular album. So
it's hard to find those Mott the Hooples in good condition, man. I've been looking for 2 of their records forever, but every time I see
some of them, I have all of them. Another one, Humble Pie.
That's a great record right there. I don't think Frampton's on that one though. Isn't that after he left?
No, this is a later one. Yeah,
that's a great record.
I've just been spinning all the different.
That and the self-titled are my favorite Pie records.
I don't know what it is about these 2 bands. I've just been spinning them a lot. I just was into this like non-heavy 70s mood, so I also spun and I didn't pull it, but Journey's album, what was the first album Steve Perry sung on?
Departure?
No. I can't remember either. Anyhow,
Evolution.
All right, we'll look it up, and I'll look it up when but anyhow, I also spun one of the greatest live albums ever a few times over.
Is that the
Who
full?
live
Is that the full concert? Because the original American pressing was just like part of the concert.
The American pressing was a single LP. The British pressing was a double LP.
Yeah,
this is an American pressing with all the stuff in it. I don't own the British version. Yeah, it's this. There you go.
Yeah, that's a cool package there. That's very cool.
I'll still never forget the Pawn Stars when some guy brought that in thinking it was all real.
Oh, all the stuff
Have
in
you
it?
seen that one? Yeah, he brought in the
No.
contract and all the stuff from there thinking it was real and tried to sell it for like $20,000.
Oh my gosh.
Not happening. Rick Harrison's smarter than that, I think.
Oh yeah. He knew what it was. It was.
I was going to say, since you're on a 70s bender, I just threw this thing up there because it's a Dutch pressing and it's like never been played. And
oh, nice.
Once again, I can't, like you, Scott, I just can't pass on certain bands. And Black Sabbath is one of them.
Go ahead, show more. Go ahead and show some more. I've got more, but let's just keep going.
I was going to say, I jumped into Born Late the other day. It's over by a job site that I'm working on. and I took a long lunch and went to see Henry over there. And he was careful to inform me that the new Legion of Doom, this is a 7-inch on purple vinyl. And then they have a full length out. Legions of Doom, if you're not familiar with them, it's basically members of Corrosion of Conformity, The Skull, Trouble. Let's see, it's got Lothar Keller, Ron Holzner, Henry Vasquez, Scott Little, Carl Agel, Scott Riegers, and then there's one track. The first track is sung by Eric Wagner, rest his soul. He's no longer with us, as you well know. So I had to pick that up with some of my store credit. And
Carl Agel was the singer for Blind, right?
Yeah. Sure enough. And then David Gilmour, About Face. Right. This one sort of gets lost after his first solo album is fantastic, but this one kind of gets lost and it's a little different.
I like that one too,
but it's good.
It's great. It's not just good. And then I don't know. Have you ever heard of this band, Cadaver? Swedish three-piece.
Yeah, I like them. I haven't seen that record. I have their first two though.
Yeah, this is really good. This is this is the Isolation tapes. This is like a bunch of like B-sides and stuff they were just practicing with, and wow, it's pretty cool. That's the only Cadaver I own, except for of course the Swedish death metal Cadaver. But
I got a little behind on the comments. We have quite a few.
So Tanner mentioned VOC. I've actually close to that. I've been listening to a lot of Triumph. I've been spinning these both quite a bit.
Those are great.
The first two, the Canadian albums.
The one that's got Little Texas Shaker on it.
These are so good. If you guys haven't heard this record, this record, their debut, man, this thing is 10 out of 10. It's harder to find here in the U.S., but these are both worth grabbing. And the Rock and Roll Machine in the U.S. is not the same as the original from Canada.
Nope, not even close.
Yeah.
Do any of your copies I have about 10 copies of that thing. Do any of your copies have a Little Texas Shaker on side 2? Because that's a true Canadian first pressing.
Tanner's
it's on side 1.
Or on side 1?
Yeah.
Huh. Is that a reissue or is that a...
No, any of them with this color, any of them with this cover are the original Canadian.
So what about the one where they're like a live shot of them on the cover?
That's these are the US. These are comps.
Yes, that's a compilation.
So this is one of the US. There's another one with just like a neon logo on it.
Right.
That's also the same one. This is a comp of these two records. So it has a couple songs from each of these. So this was the first US release.
Right on. So Tanner asked what was up with the long boxes. The long boxes were to help just be bigger so that they didn't get stolen as easy.
Yeah, it was an anti-theft thing back in the...
It was an anti-theft thing. Then they started putting them into plastic cases, and of course none of it worked because people just pop the boxes open, steal the CD, and leave the box there. So, but yeah, it was what it is.
Yeah,
we're getting a lot of comments, and I'm sorry I got a little behind. So, how about let's see. I've been on April Wine and BOC kick. That's a good one to be on as well.
That's what made me bring up the Triumph, as he mentioned the April Wine. I wanted to show these real quick, though, since we were talking about all of us See and Accept. So I ended up pulling out some stuff for the concert. Like I said, I did the meet and greet. So I got Humanoid signed by the band, and then they did some picks and a live set or a signed set list. Also, listen to this one right before the show to kind of get in the mood.
Yes, Infinity was the album that I was trying to remember.
My favorite from the Mark Tornillo era was Blind Rage.
Oh yeah, that thing is good.
Got that one, and then again a signed photo that was part of the meet and greet. And then I wanted to listen to Blood of Nations and didn't realize I didn't have it on vinyl. I swore I did, so I ended up buying that on Amazon and spinning that a couple times. And then I'm not a fan of KK's Priest. I don't dislike the albums, but I don't like them a whole lot. So what I listened to get in the mood was the Judas Priest stuff with Ripper. And I brought this too, hoping I would see Ripper to get him signed. But Jugulator, Demolition, which is much better than I think people realize it is. I really like that one. And then, of course, 98 Live Meltdown. I listened to like 3 times.
I'll have to go back and readdress Demolition because I thought, other than One on One, that was just a crappy record.
They added some effects to it. They added some sound effects to it that kind of gave it a, what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of gave it a little bit of a nu metal sound on some of the songs, and I think that's why people disliked it. But going back, I didn't like it when it came out either. But going back and listening to it, 30 years removed, it sounds a little bit better.
I'll check it out again.
But that 98 Live Meltdown is one of the best live albums of all time. I don't think it's the best Judas Priest live album by far.
You're not going to argue with me on that one. Yeah, you're right.
I know we all love it. All 4 of us on the show, but man,
people are still talking about the long boxes. Yeah, the long boxes. We were talking about the same thing. Yeah, they are making a comeback. People are doing them again, but the problem is all they do is raise the price.
Well, they raised the price of production, but that was the idea. He's exactly right. After working at Peaches for a summer in Hollywood.
Yep. Right on. So am I up? So yeah, anyhow, it was Infinity. I went and grabbed it when I saw the layout, you guys, because I couldn't remember for the life of me.
I guess Evolution was the next one.
I don't know. I mean, this is getting a little personal, but I don't know if you guys ever you're just, I don't know, in a mood, depressed, sad, whatever, something's going on in your life, and there's just those certain albums that just speak to you or work for you. Well, years back when my mother-in-law was really sick with ALS and I was taking care of her, and it was a rough time. And for some reason, man, I played this album over and over again because it just gave me some peace and mellow. You know what I mean? So anyhow, to this day, it's still my favorite Journey album. I also think it was great that they had 2 vocalists on here that were sharing the vocals, and I thought that was awesome. And then, of course, after this, they dropped that. Well, I don't know why. Steve Perry's a great singer, obviously, but I just liked it when they were doing it together.
The first 3, who was it that said it wasn't Ross
Rowley.
Valerie, but
no, it was Rowley.
Greg Rowley.
Greg Rowley.
I like those too. They're straight up hard rock. I really like those 3.
I love Next.
But this one here was straight up hard rock too. But Greg Rowley shared vocal duties.
Was the band and him hated each other. They didn't get along at all.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm up, huh? So I showed this one on Facebook not too long ago, but I picked this thing up. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be crap, but the A side is worth the price of admission alone.
What is that? I've never seen that before.
It is the demos that the band recorded before actually recording the album. So you've got Yankee Rose, I'm Easy, Ladies Night in Buffalo, Elephant Gun, Big Trouble, Bump and Grind, and then you've got some jam that they do that's not even titled, and it's got a couple of little outtakes from David Lee Roth on the A side. But they're so different than what ended up on the album. It's really, if you're into the album at all, which I am, I saw the tour. I think it's one of the best Van Halen albums that Van Halen never did.
Right.
But yeah,
there.
And John's got one that's like, I don't know,
it's in Spanish,
20 feet by 20 feet.
Yeah,
hanging in his house.
Yeah, it takes up a
whole damn wall, if I remember correctly, does it not?
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's demos, and then the B side is it's live tracks. So it's live songs are Just Like Paradise, Knuckle Bones, Going Crazy, Yankee Rose, and California Girls. But like I said, the A side is what makes it worth the price of admission.
Where'd you find that? I'm gonna.
Is it a regular release or is it a special pressing?
Oh, it's a fan club pressing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it. You can find copies fairly inexpensive right now on eBay.
You
That's
mean
where I
an
picked it up at.
import?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an import.
Special
So
press
anyhow,
release.
but
I
yeah, I
like that
listened to this
album
thing.
cover though. That looks great.
Yeah, it looks good, and I was impressed. I thought I really wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it because I'm like, it's gonna be a bunch of crap, hard to listen to and never listen to it again. If you like that album, this is cool to listen to. So, what else do I got? I also picked up the new Thin Lizzy Jailbreak 2024 remix.
Shocking.
I wasn't gonna pick this up either. I already have, I don't know, 10 copies of this thing on between CD, vinyl, cassette, 8-track, among other things. But somebody who's another Thin Lizzy fan is like, no, dude, you need to get that. He says because if you know that album as well as I do, which I've listened to this thing hundreds of times in my lifetime, he goes, you're gonna like it. It's kind of like when they Kiss did the Destroyer remix, and they added in all these things that they recorded but weren't used. So there's like an intro. There's like an intro to Jailbreak that they didn't use. There's like all these vocal parts from Phil Lynott that they didn't use that they put in here. So it's actually was really fun listen just because of that reason alone. And it's obviously very well mixed because it's all modern and it sounds fantastic. Crank it through the both speakers. So anyhow, I'm giving it a thumbs up because I really enjoyed it. But like I said, I wasn't going to spend the money on it, but somebody convinced me, and I'm like,
some of those remasters, when they're done correctly, like the Pink Floyd Animals, that blows any remix that I've ever that I've heard.
Problem is that remix sounds good, but the vinyl sounds terrible.
True.
No, I did not get the David Lee Roth from Gary. I just got it on eBay, but
I did.
I know he sells on eBay too.
But Dio. A lot of people didn't like the Dio remaster. I thought it was really good too. From like 2 years ago.
And it's all personal preference too, by the way. That's why I bought that Overkill Under the Influence on regular, the Megaforce, because I didn't want the remastered version. I like the way the old one sounds.
Some of it doesn't work, like Mustaine went back and remastered all the early Megadeth stuff, and the remasters aren't near as good because he cut stuff from them, or he redid some of the solos.
He redid some of the solos. He redid some of the vocals, and like that intro on the third album, which that with all the horns and stuff like that. It was there before, but it was mixed down, so it didn't like take away. And when I heard it, it was actually me and my buddy Trog were listening to it for the first time. We're like, "What the heck is going on here?" It just sounded horrible.
MD45's like that too, because I love the original MD45. It's got that hardcore punk sound, and then he decided to redo it and do the vocals himself, and it still sounds all right, But then you don't know which one you're getting when you buy it unless you look at the date, because it didn't have a different hype sticker or anything,
I remember when Sony bought the entire Combat catalog, and they put out Exodus Pleasures of the Flesh, and they remastered it and they brickwalled it, and somebody had taken my original Combat pressing, so I thought, well, I need to replace it. I went there and bought the remastered version. I didn't even get out of the parking lot of Diamond Head Records, and I have at least 2 witnesses that said I ran back into the store and said, take it back. I can't listen to it. It was just too cleaned up.
Even now, Dave, Dave Ellefson owns Combat now, and the stuff that he's done since he bought it, he did the Nuclear Assaults. They sound terrible. They're so bad. So yeah, maybe they need to hire Rob.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold the phone. Gary Ayrton just said Sony bought Pink Floyd's catalog for $400 million.
That sounds low, actually.
Well, speaking of Pink Floyd, hold the phone. This is another one of those, a bunch of guys playing Pink Floyd Animals start to finish. And listen to this lineup. They've got Martin Bear, Graham Bonnet, Vinnie Moore, Jordan Rudess, James LeBray, Al Di Meola, Joe Bouchard, Patrick Moraz, Billy Cobham, Arthur Brown, Rick Wakeman, Jan Ackerman, Carmine Appice, Albert Lee. I mean, this thing is phenomenal. Look at that.
Since you're showing that one, let me show this one.
Yeah,
Scott.
I'm getting there. Hang on. trying to get back there.
Get back there.
Speaking of them, you got The Wall.
Is that the same premise where just a bunch of people?
Yeah, it's all doom metal bands. You've got the Melvins, ASG, Summoner, Ruby the Hatchet, Pallbearer, Greenleaf, Year of the Cobra, Sasquatch, Doomcraft.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So show us some Pink Floyd, Scott.
Don't have any Pink Floyd. Everything else here is pretty much metal.
Hey, have you heard about this, Scott? The Rick Perry Puncture Project. He sent me one of these. Have you heard it?
Not yet. I just got it in the mail yesterday. Didn't even get a chance to crack the plastic on it.
I actually bought these from a live performance on tape, and man, this thing sounds a million times better than the tape. It's pretty amazing.
So everything else here is pretty much metal stuff that I've been listening to, but I've been going through a lot of the 2024 releases that I have, and I can honestly say that these next two I'm going to show will both make my top 10, if not my top 5, especially this one. I absolutely love this album. I played it so much, it's ridiculous. This is a Swedish band, All for the King, Darkest Before Dawn. This thing is fantastic. Just straight up heavy metal. If I could compare it to anything, I'd compare it to Tony Martin era Black Sabbath with David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes singing instead of Tony Martin.
Wow. Wow.
At times I really hear Glenn Hughes in the vocals, and other times I hear David Coverdale, but it's a lot heavier than anything Coverdale ever did, or Glenn Hughes for that matter. Just very dark, doomy, heavy music. Fantastic. But like I said, Swedish band. If you get a chance, go listen to the song "Darkest Before the Dawn" and "The Seventh Seal" on YouTube, and if that doesn't pull you in, then your spoon done fell out your bowl, because it's good.
Yeah, I like that one. I played that a lot when it came out.
And this one will make the no doubt too. I showed this one before, but this Motivic is one of my favorite thrash albums of the year. It's thrash, but it's not paint by numbers thrash. It doesn't sound like any other band.
Is Ryan in here? I think he's floating around in here, isn't he?
He might be. But yeah, this thing is fantastic. It reminds me a little bit of Corner and Believer at times. But other than that, I really can't hear anything that's a copy, or they're wearing their influences on their sleeve kind of thing.
That's my favorite thrash metal of the year by far.
This album's fantastic. It's another one. These two albums, I haven't stopped spinning them all year long. They just never left they never got onto the shelf. Let's put it that way. I usually keep my albums out that I get new for a while and leave them on leave them behind me in a pile for a while, play them. Then when I get, then I put them away, and you either forget about them, or if it's something you really want to hear, you end up pulling it out again. And those two have never even made it onto the shelf.
Yeah, Gary, we definitely know Witch Hazel. Actually, I have.
Oh yeah.
Here's some Witch Hazel right here.
And this is another one that I've been listening to quite a bit.
Yeah, that Night's
I haven't heard that, the new Aska.
It's good. It's really good. I think the sound is fantastic. I think the songs are great. George sounds like George, which I think he's a fantastic vocalist. My only complaint, and it's more because I'm a designer, is the layout is a little bit.
It's the layout's terrible.
Yeah, the layout on the vinyl is better than the CD. The CD is really bad because it doesn't even have like the name on the spine. So, but yeah, the layout's a little bit. I don't know the right word for it.
The guys should be touching the logo. I'm sorry.
Thank you. What's that? What'd you say, Carcass? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
There's no way the logo should be touching the guy's head. It's a bad look.
Yeah, it's okay. It's the cover doesn't bother me as much as the rest of the layout does. Like this giant type for the things on the back.
Yeah, but the album itself is just.
It's great. It's fantastic. And the band released released it themselves. I think. Am I not mistaken? Was it the band that released it themselves?
I'm pretty sure that it's a self-release. Yeah. I'm sure overseas it'll be somebody else, but I'm
just going to throw these up real quick since we already kind of talked about them, but I had to pull this one out and give it another listen due to the fact that we're going to see the show. And then, of course, I pulled both of these out and gave them a spin. They played quite a few songs. They played. Here's the first album. I actually bought mine autographed. It came autographed from KK. But
I got the same one.
They played Hellfire Thunderbolt, which I think they opened up with that. And that's a beast of a song. It's really heavy and fast, and I mean it's almost thrash metal. So anyhow, I just thought I'd throw those real quick. Somebody else. I still got more to show, but go ahead.
Yeah, I got a bunch more. Do you?
Well, I was going to say, man, we got listeners from Canada, from Norway, and from Turkey, from Istanbul. Jiminy Christmas. Well, here's the last of my poser stuff, and this is Molchat Doma. They're a Russian kind of a Kraftwerk meets The Cure meets Depeche Mode. I really dig them. They're modern. They're cool, though.
Well, if anybody knows this program, you know damn well that we don't just listen to metal.
No. and we had touched on this earlier in the day.
Yeah, that's so good.
I got this on the Curacao
Let's
flavor.
see it again. Oh yeah.
Cavali Conspiracy doing Schizophrenia, which Steve and I probably both agree it's our favorite Sepultura.
It's my favorite Sepultura album by far. I really didn't want them to remake it though, because I love the original. They absolutely killed it on the re-record though.
Yes,
it's fantastic.
I listened to the original just to kind of get it in my head, and boy, when I put that on the table, it was unbelievable.
Hey, I just want to butt in real quick and ask, hey, Damien, hair metal. I know you're watching. Have you heard the album from Devil City Angels? Just curious. I think that might be right up your alley. And you're probably already familiar with them. I was just curious. Let me know in the comments if you know them or not. Go ahead. Sorry, John.
Okay, no big deal. I discovered a kind of a new distro, a new record label, whatever, called Blast Beats, and some of the bands that I've been listening to from Bandcamp, like Death Siege, I picked that up. An old Untergang that I didn't have. I didn't even know was on vinyl. This was just a digital release at one time. Sephiric Embodiment. I know this is kind of psychedelic death doom, if that makes any sense. It's kind of my new thing. Here's one for you. If the Trees Could Talk. It's like ambient shoegaze death metal, instrumental. This one is that some of their other albums have vocals on them. This is a band from Houston, Oceans of Slumber, husband and wife, Dauber Beverly, the drummer from Insect Warfare and a million other bands. He and his wife is the singer, and this is really, really a cool record. It's double orange, and I really dig it.
Is it just two of them?
What's that?
Is there actually just two of them in the band?
No, they have a full band, and they tour all over the place. I know they just got back from South America, but and someone beat me to it. I was just going to say the album that I can't show because it's not out yet. Well, it's out, but I don't have my copy because I ordered the
I almost listened to it today, and I held off until I got my copy in the mail.
What, the Blood Incantation?
Yeah, I was going to listen to it today at the stream.
That shot to the top. I mean, the Tomb Mold one that was released earlier in the year is number 2 for sure. But that new Blood Incantation is a ripper. And I've had people complain, and they say, "Well, is it got all the ambient stuff?" Like they did a couple of full, Time Wave Zero was all ambient, and then they just put out that EP or the 12-inch. That one side is ambient and the other side is heavy. But that Blood Incantation, like I mentioned on my on Facebook the other day, it's as if Pink Floyd, Ozric Tentacles are playing technical death metal. It is so good. I can't even describe how good it is. And I've just been spinning and spinning just like you and that Motivic. I just can't get it out of the player. And so anyway, I wish I could show it. I'll show it when I get because I bought the limited edition. It's like half glow in the dark, half fluorescent green vinyl, and then it comes with a Blu-ray, and it comes with a second live thing, and then it comes with something else. But it's and then a giant book, with astral projections to all ports in the universe. So anyway, that's all I got. Actually, I've got. I wasn't going to show this one, but I bought this because the artwork's so funny and cool. It's called Sweaty Nipples.
Oh, that's great.
And it's called Chicken Snake. And it's basically Mordred, Rage Against the Machine, and Paw. It's Oregon, kind of that Northwest-based funk fusion metal, eclectic Uncle Slam meets, whatever. But funny. Killer production, too, for this was from like 1990, I think. Anyway,
I got a bunch more here. So
me too. Go ahead, though.
I was at the local shop last month and ran across the first really like mint copies of the first two Sarathungals, and that put me on a big kick and ended up pulling this one out again. Just another killer album. This is the most recent Dark Parade. This was the deluxe edition, so it came with a slip cover and extra album and a book. And I didn't get the bag. I just got this one in. I'm pretty disappointed with it. I really like John Coraby, and I was happy when I heard he was back in the Dead Daisies, so I got the new record. I don't think it's worth it. I don't recommend it at all. It was pretty boring.
Really?
I tried to give it another spin, thinking I would like it more the second time. And yeah, I'll probably give it another spin, but I just wasn't a fan of it. Pulled this bad boy out. Hadn't listened to this in a long time. A little bit of Hawkwind.
Nice.
Is that new?
No. This was 77. Yeah, 77.
That's a one I've never ever seen. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, this is Quirk, Strangeness, and Charm.
Never seen it. That's cool.
Really good. I don't listen to anything after like 82 or 83.
It got really weird.
Yeah, I just lost interest in it. This is one that I had to share with Scott the moment that I heard it. I was going through Discogs and just ran across this. Actually, I was listening to the Skull, really. And I was looking to see if there was any Eric Wagner albums that I didn't have, and this one popped up. So this is after he left Trouble. And this record is a 12 out of 10. I can't stop playing this. It's so fucking good. So this is between Trouble and when he put together the Skull and stuff. And it just got reissued. You can get it for like $22. I can't recommend this one enough if you like the Trouble or the Skull. So I've been listening to that a lot. And then
you need to pick up that Legions of Doom then.
Yeah, no, I will. Because I'm fans of all those guys in the band. And then speaking of that, I pulled out the Skull as well. And I've been giving that a few spins.
Great record.
And then I got a few more. We got what? 5 minutes
left.
Yeah,
I've got it. After you're done, I'll show them the rest of mine.
So I've been going through trying to get all these records that I've got in boxes that I haven't listened to and up in the shelves and stuff to clear my floors. But I mean, I've had this one on CD for quite a while and listened to it a bunch. But Transhuman from Believer, which is this was their final album, right?
Sort of, yes. They recorded a digital album afterwards, but it's never been released on any other physical media.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different sound. You can
it's prog rock.
You can still hear elements of the early thrash in the intros, but then it kind of goes progressive after that. And then, of course, one of the classics, Sanity Obscure, gave that one a few spins yesterday.
That thing rules, dude.
Oh, that's probably this and their debut are probably my favorites. I just got this one recently. Billy Hurst hooked me up. He found a mint copy. This is Machine Head. This is the best sounding version of this record I've heard. This thing sounds amazing. I know a lot of people don't like the Japanese pressing because the bass is turned down a little bit. Man, this thing just kills. So I've been playing that a lot. Finally, this got put to vinyl. This is one of the mid-era Deliverance albums. This was this kind of a rock opera, right, Scott?
Yeah, it was just a more proggy album. Yep.
Yeah, Camelot and Smithereens. This is so. If you guys know Weapons of Our Warfare, the early thrash stuff, on the next album, Jimmy P. Brown switched his voice. He sounds just like Bowie. Which is funny if you know him from the first two thrash albums, you wouldn't expect it. But his actual singing voice, it's like Bowie. All of these records are like heavy metal David Bowie. It's really fucking cool. And then last but not least, I've
got them all. I love Deliverance. So
I got a bunch of the early. I was listening to a bunch of the early Def Leppard singles and ended up pulling out Pyromania and giving that a few spins as well. Yeah, I've got the 12-inch of that right behind me over there. So that's everything I pulled.
Right on. Let me show some stuff real quick because we're running out of time. I got some records. I got some CDs. I'll show the CDs first. But we talked about Steve Morse earlier. I don't remember why, but
Dixie Gregg.
That's right. Yeah. But this is a 3 LP collection of Rob Castle's.
That's cool.
not a very well-known band, Rob Castles. Here, I'll solo myself so you can see it better since it's small. There we go. So Rob Castles, it's called, this is a compilation of his first 3 albums, called Storming the Castle's Gate, obviously, and it's Castles is spelled like his last name.
Isn't that
But
one
Steve
you
Morse, yes, I did the album cover for this. But the first album, Steve Morse is the guitar player. So yeah, that's my favorite one out of all of them. And it's called Evening Pastoral. So, like, what year was that? I can't remember what year it was. 1978, I think it was. So, yeah, good stuff. This is one that I just been in, like I said, Mott the Hoople and Humble Pie. So I've been listening to some Peter Frampton as well. So this is a compilation of stuff from the 70s and into the early 80s. This just came out. This is the 5th Sacred Warrior album, Waiting in Darkness, and it was originally released independently. Now it's on a label, and it's repackaged. It's just got the little, what do you call it, slipcase, and
that's a cool logo, though. I like the.
Yeah, and the artwork's fantastic. So it's good. I like it a lot. My minor complaint: I wish Rob could have mastered it. It would have had a little more bottom end if Rob would have done it.
Didn't Rob remaster it a couple years ago?
Rob remastered it for vinyl.
Okay,
but the CD is not. But the CD is not Rob's remaster. So
is it different songs or different mixes than the original?
On this one, on the one I just showed? Yeah. No, it's the same album. It's just the independent album sold out a long time ago. So a label picked it up and put it out with new artwork. And I mean, it's actually got the original cover here. But it's got, the slipcase, and it's got an extended booklet with photos and all that kind of stuff on there. And but the music is exactly the same. And then I pulled out the first Thin Lizzy on CD. I've got it on vinyl too, but it's also got the this version, which I've had forever. It's also got the New Day EP added as bonus tracks, so that's kind of cool. Mog's new Phil Mogg solo album.
You posted that one the other day too.
Yeah, Mog's Motel. It's good. I've only heard it once. Can't say a whole lot about it, other than it's Phil Mogg, so it's hard rock. So guess what it sounds like?
Wow, I don't know. What was that? A UFO?
Yeah, a little bit like UFO, even though, and actually it's funny because the band, Neil Carter plays guitars, vocals, and keyboards on here. So, I mean, he was also in UFO.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Speaking of UFO, they've kind of turned into King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with putting out like 4 live albums a month lately.
Oh my gosh, there's so many live albums.
Or there's another live album from UFO being released.
No kidding. I mean,
but it's not like a bad thing though, because those are all just killer.
The only thing that sucks is they're doing some from the same tour, so it's almost the same songs.
There's one from '79.
Yeah, they put out a bunch of them. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's tons of them coming out. Yeah, and they're not real expensive. They're double albums, and they're usually like $20 to $25. But anyhow, we keep going because we're running out of time. But Holy Moses, German thrash, Disorder of the Order. Her vocals are just so insane.
Sabina Crofton can still belt it out.
She was the first female thrash singer that sounded like a thrash singer. Like when I first heard them back in 88 or whatever, I would have never guessed that was a woman singing. She killed it.
Yep.
Yeah. The Mog Way albums are fantastic too. They did those. That was back in the 90s. I did pick this one up, the new Cloven Hoof.
How is it?
I like it. It's good. I only played it once so far. I just got it recently, but
that's
quite liked it.
George, right?
George is out of the band, unfortunately, but the new singer's really good. That's was my concern because George is a great singer, and I was like, how are they going to replace George? But he's good. He's really good. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's just straight up, traditional heavy metal, melodic, big hooks. How about this one? Within the Fire. I just recently received this one too. Played it 2 or 3 times already and really enjoyed it. Again, just straight up heavy metal. Probably not a really well-known band, but doesn't matter. It's just, I don't care if you're well-known or not. If the music's good, the music's good. Picked up a couple of Japanese pressings. So I was listening to this recently. The
Is that a real pressing or is that an unofficial?
No, that's an unofficial live album, I think.
No, this is not. This is actual.
Because I saw one just exactly like that. It said Sirens, but live, real small.
No, it's not. It's just the Japanese pressing of the Sirens. It's on
I love that album cover. I wish they would have done the reissue with that album cover instead of the
boats,
sailboat or whatever.
That was one of the reasons. That was one of the other reasons I picked it up, because it had that cover. I love that cover.
Yeah,
I also think it's cool. I think it looks better on white too.
There.
But yeah, this has always been my favorite Sabotage album. It was the first one I heard from them. So since I was literally a kid. So yeah, but it sounds great, really good, and it is a repressing. It's not like it's not like an old pressing that from Japan. It had to be from the somewhere in the last 10 to 15 years.
Vinyl or is it black? Mine's green, and so it's got to be a bootleg.
What's the label at the bottom of the OB there?
Metal Mania.
Yeah, it's unofficial. I like that label though.
But it is a Japanese pressing, and it sounds fantastic. So,
Madness Reigns.
Yeah, I've got 5 or 6.
Metal Mania, and I can't get it back into the thing, of course.
I've got a few of the Metal Mania releases. They all sound really good.
Yep, I've got several Metal Mania releases, but yeah, it was not really high priced either. I picked it up. It was pretty. I don't know. It was under $30. I think it was like $24.99 or something like that, plus $5 or $6 shipping.
Some of those unofficials, though, like that Dark Angel debut, the unofficial sounds better than the original record did.
Yep, I picked that one up too. Had to. This is a EP.
Good. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is the Heat Strokes EP that I picked up recently. It's got the insert and everything, but this one wasn't real expensive either. And anyhow, it's Japanese and I had the OB and I had to grab it.
Do any of you have their very first album?
I've never even seen it. I've never heard it. I don't even think I've ever seen it online to listen to.
I've heard it. A buddy of mine has it. It doesn't sound
prog, isn't it?
It's very 70s prog rock sounding.
It's equal to the progginess of Lonesome Crow by Scorpions. Same type of vibe, and a different singer.
Yeah, it's one of those records I would love to find, but it's one of those records that's like $2,000, you know?
Yeah.
Handful of Rain's a great album too. Yeah, there's not really any Sabotage albums that I don't like, so Crocus.
All of the Mountain King will always be the one for me.
Yeah,
we're over time, so let me go do these last 3 and we'll be done with it. Last 4, last 5. I'm just kidding.
Last 12, last 18.
All right. I picked this one up because everybody said it has to be in your collection. Why do you not have it in your collection yet?
Be in your collection. That's an amazing record.
So I picked up a copy of this. It's obviously a repressing, but
what year was that? Was that like 87, wasn't it?
88.
88, yeah.
88 to 90. Does that have the demos on it too? Is that a double, Scott, or is that just a single?
No, it's just a regular version of it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the regular Relapse version. See if it's red or green, because those are the rare ones. But they put out one that was a double that had all their demos on it, plus a couple live tracks.
No, I don't. I thought
I've got like 10 different versions of that too.
It's red.
Yep, there you go.
So anyhow, I don't know why I didn't have it in my collection. I've known about them. When we did a show a few weeks ago, and you guys were like, you got to have this in your collection. How can any metal collector not have this? And I'm like, all right, let me see if I can find a copy. So you guys are ever watching the show and you see
now you're a real metal collector, Scott. You weren't right before you bought that.
You've officially become. Let's deem him.
I was a poser before.
Yeah, that's right. You've burned your poser card.
Hades, the Lost Box Sessions. They just reissued 3 of their albums, and I love this stuff, man. It's all recordings from 83 to 89. It's just such great raw heavy thrash metal. It's so good out of New Jersey. So this thing was only ever available on CD, so it's finally available on vinyl, double album set. Brutal Planet Records, if anybody's interested. Brutal Planet Records is.
I need to order those. I need all 3.
BoonsOverstock.com. If anybody wants this, especially this one out of all of them, don't wait too long, because they just went into distribution, because Brutal Planet Records now has mainstream distribution, so they won't be around for long.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of their stuff in the local record stores lately. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I got somebody sent me a picture from Germany from Keep It True Festival, and there was a whole wall of records, and there was one from No Life to Metal Records, and I was like, yes. That was so cool. So, and I also picked up the 2 Firewind reissues on Backbreaker.
Both of those are rippers.
I don't know that band. What is it?
That's Gus G.
It's Gus G.
Oh, is it? Okay, I like Gus.
And they rip.
Oh, these are fantastic if you don't have these.
Especially the green one. Forged by Fire.
I don't know. I think it's hard to pick a favorite of the 2, but they're both fantastic.
Yeah.
This one actually has some guest guitar solos and stuff on it too, which I don't know why Gus G needs a guest guitar solo considering he's Gus G. But Marty Friedman and James Murphy also play on this one. So,
well, he's been in some like he was when he's in Halford. He
was with Ozzy for like 6 years.
Yeah, he was when he was with Halford. He had Mike Schlesiak, and he's been in Arch Enemy for a spell, and with Michael Ament. Good grief!
I'll show one more. I haven't even popped it open. It came in the mail yesterday. I got it for. I work for this record company, so I got it for free. But
where is Hair Metal Rob when you need him the most?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a striper. I've been a striper fanatic for decades. But as some of you know, and some of you don't know, but there was a bit of a beef with the band not too long ago that kind of spoiled and soured my what's the word I'm looking for? Fandom.
It's not just you, it's me too. I just opened their not their newest album, their last album like a month ago, and I pre-ordered it, because of all that stuff. What's sad though is I was playing some Striper for somebody recently, and they were shocked because the stuff that they're doing now is 10 times heavier than the stuff that they did back in the 80s.
I agree, Damien. Those 2 Firewind albums are killer. I always thought the name was kind of funny, though. Firewind reminds me of a fart, but whatever.
It sounds like a German power metal band.
Yeah,
Firewind.
Well, they have some of those elements, but they're ripping, man. That thing rips.
Usually, when I see the album art like that, it makes me think, well, Dream Evil too, which was him. But a lot of those, like Voldemar, some of the German power metal bands, where it's just double bass nonstop for 47 minutes. Just kind of get boring about halfway through.
Both those 2 Firewinds are pretty melodic, but they do have some speed and some heaviness to them too.
I don't mind definitely there's some dynamics. I just don't like a lot of the power metal bands where it's just 140 beats per minute, double bass the whole album.
Like Dragon Force, right?
Yeah, Dragon Force bores the shit out of me.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised you didn't know Firewind. Actually, you're gonna love them. They're right up your alley. I mean, just the guitar work alone, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, like I said, I really like Gus G. So
it's from Electric Sun, Uli Roth.
Well, he was a huge Uli Roth fan. I think he was on the Uli Roth tribute album. He did a couple songs on there.
Yeah, Uli rules. I agree with you, Steve, on Dragon Force. Yeah, it's
Dragon Force is one of those bands. If you hear the players individually, they're all amazing musicians. I don't know. They just get together and put out the most boring. It's just like they try to overdo everything, and they just kind of ruin
speed for speed's sake. Yeah. But anyhow, that's my opinion.
Are not a team.
Yeah, the latest Blind Guardian. What is it called, Scott? The God Machine.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's so good. That was my album of the year last year. I really like it. Well, and it's hard to say. They had 10 years, 15 years of nothing but symphonic bullshit that nobody liked, and then they put this out, and it goes back to the early days, and it's just fantastic. So, yeah.
I was actually looking to see if that was the correct name or not, because I can't remember if that's
Gary just posted. Yeah, the God Machine.
The Bard Machine?
The God Machine.
What is the Bard Machine?
Where do you see that?
I'm looking at Blind Guardians. Oh, is that one of the songs on there?
It must be a live. No, it's probably a live.
That's just something I didn't know, so I was just wondering what it was. Anyhow, whatever. Anything else you guys want to say before we bid fair adieu to everybody? I think it's how you say it.
Metal will prevail, obviously.
Herman Lee at the Audience of Exodus show back in 2015. Nice guy.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. But once again, it's a team of high
I know
power.
a lot of nice guys that are horrible musicians.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that the wrong. He's a great musician. I just don't like
too much noodling.
The band, you know. But I've also some of the best musicians I've met are total douchebags. So you know.
Yep.
Amen to that.
Right on. Well, that's it for us. Appreciate everybody watching. We had probably more viewers watching live today than I think I've ever seen at one time. So that's awesome.
And from all over the world too, man.
All over the world, yeah. So thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody, leaving the comments. A lot of times we'll actually respond to the comments and get you guys as part of the show. But it was hard today because we had so much to show. So, but appreciate y'all watching. So anyhow, if you're looking for Steve, you can find Steve at Harmless Rebel on YouTube. Harmless Rebel 868. Is that correct? And he's on Facebook and all that, so he's easy to find. You can find John's Instagram at Carcass John Art. He is an artist who, maybe I can do it like Kamala Harris. He's an artist who likes to do art. His art is very arty. How's that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And by the way, if you're not doing anything from 10 o'clock Central Standard Time to midnight, you can check out the Crypt on 128db.
There you go.
And it's a free app. And send me some suggestions because I feel like I'm doing this all myself. But hit me up on Instagram at Carcass John Art and send me a request. And
then for Rob, who's not here, you can find him at Metal Rob's Records on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find me on Instagram and No Lights Metal, or you can search for Scott Waters or No Lights Metal on YouTube. But some of you are actually watching on my channel right now, so you're already there. So if you don't mind, give us a thumbs up on the videos, give us a like, help us to help spread the word for us, because we've been doing this for 243 episodes, and we don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So we always appreciate everybody watching and commenting. It's a lot of fun. So for episode number 243. As we always do it, metal will prevail. And then this is where I leave you all hanging while I try and figure out where everything is at. So